For this project, I use Angular for the front end, PHP with MySQL for the backend, and Bootstrap for the styling. The system used 5 core tables: role, users, books, status, and loans. Roles table defines user and admin. This helps manage access and permissions within the system. Users table store user details including username, email, password, role, and loan count. This table is crucial for maintaining user profiles and tracking their borrowing activities. Books table store book details including title, author, ISBN, genre, quantity, and available quantity. This table ensures that we can effectively manage the library inventory. Status table tracks loan status, borrow, return, and overdue. This helps in monitoring the state of each transaction. Loans table tracks all book borrowing transactions. Within my database design, there are key relationships. Each user has a role, user, or admin. There is one-to-one relationship between the user and role table. Each loan links to a user, a book, and a loan status. There is many-to-many relationship between users and books, which is facilitated through the loans table. There are many API endpoints in my system for handling HTTP requests, auth endpoint for user login and password reset, user endpoints for getting, adding, and updating user, book endpoints for viewing, adding, updating, and deleting books, loan endpoint for viewing loan record, borrowing, and returning book. Angular is used for the front end. I use Forms module to build and manage user input because it supports data binding between module and form fields. I use Router because it enables routing in single-page application. I use it to navigate between different components without reloading. I use onInit because it fetches data from servers during component initialization. I use it to fetch data from API when component initialize. Bootstrap is used for styling. I use container class to provide responsive layout, card class to create flexible content containers, and button class for predefined button styles. I use form control class to create consistent and style input field in forms, dflags class to quickly set an element as a flags container, and list group item to display item in a list format. Login module. I log in as an admin. I will be redirected to admin dashboard. I log in as a user. I am now redirected to the user dashboard. If I do not provide anything, I cannot log in. If the username or password is incorrect, I also cannot log in. After I click the Add Book button, I am redirected to the Add Book form, which I can add book. I cannot add new book if the ISB already exists in the database. For example, if I use this ISBN number, I cannot add this book because the ISBN was already used. After I click the edit button, I am redirected to the update book form, which I can edit the book. This information is fetched from the database. If I edit this field, I can update here. The record is updated. After I click the delete button, the system will ask if I want to delete this record. After I confirm, the record was deleted. After I click the Add User button, I will redirect it to Add User form, which I can add user. It is noted that the password must be at least 8 characters. Also, I cannot add the new user if the email was already exists in the database. Because the email was already exists, I cannot add this new user. After I click the edit button, I can edit the user detail. If I want to remove the user, I can click the delete button. The system will ask if I really want to remove this user. After I click OK, the record is removed. I log in as a regular user. I can search book. I can search by title. I can also search by author. I can only see books that are available. I can borrow a book by clicking this button. The availability of this book is reduced by 1. After I borrow the book, I can go to the loan management to see my borrow record. I can return the book by clicking this button. After I return the book, the loan record is updated. The availability of the book is increased by 1 again. A user can only borrow up to 5 books. If they try to borrow more than it, the system will not allow it. The system will show you have reached your loan quota. I can change my password here. For security, I need to provide my current password. Of course, the new password must be at least 8 characters. After I reset the password, I can use my new password to log in again. If I encounter any problem, for example, if I forgot my password, I can click here, the contact. I can fill the form and submit it to the admin. In this session, I will discuss functionality limitations. First, the system does not support uploading book cover images. This decision was made to avoid the additional storage and processing costs. Next, the system features only basic loan management. One key limitation here is the lack of a book reservation feature. Users cannot reserve books that are currently bought by others. Lastly, the system does not include an online payment integration for paying fines. Users who have fines must visit the library in person to resolve them. In this session, I will discuss scalability limitation. PHP has limited threading support, as PHP scripts typically run as individual processes. PHP lacks built-in sophisticated middleware, unlike frameworks such as .NET Core or Spring Boot, which offer advanced middleware and caching layers out of the box. Our system is currently hosted on local servers, which present some significant scalability challenges. The system is constrained by factors such as level bandwidth, hardware capability, and server uptime. In this session, I will discuss the security limitation. First, let's talk about admin privilege risks. One major concern is that if an attacker accidentally gains access to an admin account, they could change any user password or alter user loan quotas. Next, the system does not enforce periodic password change. This means that if a username or password are leaked or compromised, an attacker could potentially maintain access to the user account for a long time. Another limitation is the lack of restrictions on repeated failed login attempts. The system is vulnerable to brute force attacks. I will discuss enhancements that could improve the functionalities. First, overdue book reminders. I recommend implementing an automated email reminder system that notifies users when their books are overdue. Next, I propose account update notifications. If an admin changes a user password or loan quota, the system should automatically send an email notification to inform the user. Another enhancement is password reset via email. I recommend implementing a security password reset workflow using a tokenized link sent via email. I suggest integrating online fine payment. By integrating a payment gateway like Stripe, users will be able to pay overdue fines online. Additionally, I recommend adding a book reservation feature. It will allow users to reserve books in advance. Let's discuss enhancements that could improve scalability. Firstly, I suggest hosting the system on a cloud platform. This makes it easier to integrate with cloud-based third-party services. Additionally, hosting on a cloud simplifies backup creation. It can be hosted on platforms like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Secondly, I recommend migrating to a more scalable platform for backend development. Technologies like .NET Core and Spring Boot are excellent choices because they offer better scalability and stronger security framework. Let's move on to security enhancements. One important addition would be implementing admin action logs. By checking all admin action in an audit log, I can perform security review. Another improvement is to implement a password expiry policy. Users are required to update their passwords every 6 months. It will significantly reduce the risk of compromised accounts. Lastly, I recommend implementing an account lockout mechanism after several failed login attempts. They will help mitigate the risk of brute force attacks. This is my reference list. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.